Hello, my name is Dr. Catherine Jones-Hazledine, and I'm a licensed clinical psychologist and the owner and director of Western Nebraska Behavioral Health Clinics. I'm here with you today to present the latest in our series of short videos to help people with peopling and parenting during the pandemic. Parenting is hard work. Good work, but hard work. That's always true, even under the best of circumstances. And I think we can all agree that the current situation we find ourselves in is not the best of circumstances. During this time of COVID-19, our country is largely shut down. Children are home from school, and we as parents are attempting to not only do our normal parenting activities and tasks, but also teach our children. Many of us are also attempting to work from home during this time or are essential workers in the community. During this time of multiple stressors, we may not be our best parenting selves, and our children may not be their best behaved selves. And that, as we know, can be a vicious circle. There are many parenting tools that can help to maximize the interactions with our kids, but I've always said that if I only had a brief amount of time to teach an important parenting technique, it would be focused on the use of attention. This one basic factor in all of our interactions with our children is really that powerful. So today I want to talk with you about using your attention strategically and specifically using brief intermittent bursts of attention. First things first, what do we mean by attention? When we think about giving our kids attention, we think about maybe having a conversation with them or playing a game or having a special activity. And those things certainly are attention. But the truth is that attention starts much, much smaller than that. It can be eye gaze or touch or nonverbal facial expressions such as smiles and frowns. And literally all verbalizations directed to our child, positive or negative, also constitute attention. Anything that lets our children know in that interaction that they have our focus. And it turns out that attention is a pretty powerful factor from birth. Research tells us that infants learn very early to recognize their caregivers' faces, and they can start to differentiate between tone and facial expressions. It's believed to be a bit of a survival instinct that's hardwired into us from birth, and it makes sense. As infants, we are helpless, and so it's key to be able to have the attention and focus of an adult who can provide for our needs. If we don't have that, we will likely die. So all of us, even before we're verbal, learn to differentiate between the tones and the expressions of our caregiver in response to different behaviors. When children smile or coo, their parents tend to smile back or hug them or interact in some other positive way. When children are learning communication, if they approximate a word or a sign or a gesture, parents will often respond positively, again with smiles or with laughs or clapping or hugs. So it turns out that attention forms one of the cornerstones of teaching from birth. It's a powerful thing. There are a few ways that we as parents can kind of err in using attention, and we'll be talking about those in future video. But today I want to talk about the mistake that we often make as parents in not providing enough attention spread out throughout the day. I'm not saying that children are neglected, but it is the case in almost every household I've ever seen, including my own, that when children are being just everyday average okay, they don't tend to get a ton of attention. That's because when they're doing their own thing, that is a time that we as parents can prepare a meal for them, or wash some clothes, or do some dishes, or make that important call for work. And this is especially true right now when we're all attempting to fill so many different roles at the same time. When they tantrum, however, or have a fight with their siblings, we can't ignore that. And so that tends to be when they get our attention. As a result, it doesn't take long for things to shift in any household to where negative behaviors are actually more reinforced than positive. Luckily, there is a simple and pretty proactive response to this problem, which is to increase the rate of brief, intermittent bursts of attention. I think of kids as having a gas tank of attention, needs to be filled, and keeping it topped off works better than trying to refill it quickly in a crisis. This helps with teaching by providing frequent feedback to kids over the course of the day and lets them know that what they're doing is working and appreciated. And it also lets them know that they're being noticed, that they have your attention. This intermittent attention can be verbal, but it doesn't have to be. It can be eye contact and a wink. It can be squeezing a shoulder as you walk by a table where a child is working on their homework. It can be a quick hug. If it is verbal, it should be brief, targeted, and specific. Dude, you are doing such a good job working on your math, or really great job sharing with your sister during that game. There's a cool strategy that I have taught to a number of different families over the years, especially those with younger children, that's called 20 pennies in a pocket. The gist of it is this. Starting at the beginning of the day, put 20 pennies or dried beans or whatever in one pocket. And then throughout the day, every time you remember to give this brief burst of attention, move one of the pennies or beans over from one pocket to the other, with the goal being that by the end of the day, everything that started out in the first pocket has moved to the second. This lets us know that over the course of the day, we have provided a high rate of intermittent attention to our children, contingent upon just everyday average okay behavior. Another helpful strategy is front-loading attention. On a day that you know will be stressful, or when you've noticed that your child seems to be in general seeking more negative attention, take time in the morning to cuddle in a chair, whispering and being silly, or take a couple of minutes to read a quick book. It might only take a few minutes, but providing that attention up front at the beginning of the day is likely to start you both off on the right foot, and it also helps reduce a child's need to obtain reassurance during a busy day through negative attention seeking. Now, I could go on in this topic, and we will have some other videos that talk more specifically about other errors that we make as parents in terms of attention, as well as attention for older children. But the point of these videos is to be short and sweet and not take up much of your time. So we will be back again later, and in the meantime, please be well, enjoy each other, and like and share these videos if you find them helpful. Thank you very much.